everyone, I'm Evan Mitchell, music director of the Kingston Symphony Orchestra, and I'm here with our esteemed conductor emeritus, Glen Fast.
Great to see you, Evan.
It's great to see you, it's great to have you here, and great to have you here for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is, of course, we have a really interesting concert coming up, our 6th Masterworks concert of the season, and that's going to be yours.
Complete thrill for me, and thank you, and congratulations for taking over and doing such a great job.
Oh, thank you. No, it's been quite the season.
Yeah.
So tell me about this concert.
Oh, it's so rich, Evan. I mean, we start with Beethoven, Coriolan Overture. Emperor Coriolan was not only tasked with taking over Rome, but if he did so, he would lose his family. Terrible conflict. And of course, Beethoven's life is all about that sort of turmoil and that sort of
Pretty much at every step, yes.
At every step. And so the play was an absolute flop. It was written in Vienna in the early 1800s. But the overture lives on, and it's Beethoven at his best, that inner turmoil. Then we go to the Shostakovich Cello Concerto, which was written in the mid-1950s.
Thereabouts, yeah.
For Rostropovich. Apparently, he learned it and memorized it in 4 days.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
And they performed it, yeah.
What a feat.
It's got to be one of the hardest cello concertos for sure. And we have Denise Djokic, who's just a fabulous player.
Oh, she's wonderful. I have to admit that actually I'm jealous. That I've been looking forward to working with her for quite some time,
yeah.
And I won't have the opportunity this season.
I'm sure you can invite her back.
She's an audience favorite, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So
she's
a cellist.
A beautiful player. But the Shostakovich, there's a completely different world from the Beethoven. Again, extremely dramatic, tied in with the political life of Russia and Stalin, which doesn't seem to have improved much these days. It's still kind of topical. But for me, it's kind of special. My father was born in Russia, and I just have a certain sense of feeling for that music. DSCH, boom, 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 the first notes that you hear from the cello. Dmitri Shostakovich's
his own signature.
His own little signature.
In the notes.
Which he was using a lot in those days, his 10th Symphony and different things. There's all sorts of references, political references that are if you don't know them, it doesn't matter. But it makes it an extremely interesting piece. Full of drama and full of childish things. The devil's coming and jokes, Stalin like this.
Thumbing your nose, yeah. Shostakovich was one of those composers who had that really wry sense about him. And what I find is that sometimes when you're going through it, you don't know whether he's actually serious or whether this, because at the same time he lived in absolutely awful times. I mean, he was terrified that he'd be dragged off, to the gulag, and he took to sleeping by his door, apparently, as the story goes, so that if the secret police were knocking and taking him away, he wouldn't wake up his family.
Yeah.
Although the flip side of that coin is that they would wake up and just find him gone. So I don't know if that's necessarily and something that I would do as a choice myself. However, that turmoil, of course, is represented in the music far differently than it is than Beethoven's turmoil. Beethoven seems to sort of shout out against it. Shostakovich, I suppose he makes fun of it, but it is very dark at the same time.
Oh, yeah. And the slow movement is just so sad and reminiscent of friends that he lost to the gulag. And just like, and it's really exciting because it's music within not your lifetime, but within my lifetime. It makes it kind of neat. But it's very exciting music, and that'll be a joy. And then, of course, the great Schubert C Major Symphony.
The C Major. Now, what you in the audience might not know is that when we were planning this concert, I believe we actually had a Haydn symphony in place for the symphonic work on the second half of this program. And when I was having a chat with Maestro Fast, we came to the conclusion that this would be perhaps a greater fit. And using the thematic tie that binds of, let's say, conflicted composers. Not necessarily that Schubert was a conflicted composer, but none of these three composers actually led, shall we say, fancy-free lives.
Not at all. No. In 1822, Schubert had an extremely serious illness, and he survived. And if Mozart had lived to hear Schubert's Fifth Symphony, he would have been terribly jealous, because this is Schubert had absolutely mastered that form and had such a strong, beautiful voice, his harmony, everything about it was just perfect. But you know, you did a beautiful performance of Schubert's Unfinished Symphony. These two symphonies, the Unfinished and the Great C Major, that he wrote in the last few years of his life, he's left to me the planet. He's just taken us away from the drudgery of feet planted on the earth, and I just go and visit the stars with his music. That's what it means to me.
Well, that's wonderful.
And you say, you know, he wrote this C major symphony a year after he had heard Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, and he quotes in the last movement, two little clarinets have the Ode to Joy, just very extremely briefly, just whoop, gone like that. But he was a symphonist that was, in my opinion, as revolutionary and equal in vision to Beethoven. And my goodness, Mendelssohn and Schumann took this great C major symphony as a model for their great symphonic outputs as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you track sort of the progress of the great symphonists through history, everyone, of course, feels a great deal of reverence towards Beethoven, Brahms, Mozart. And then if you go further, we could say Shostakovich and Mahler and such. But I think Schubert actually, you know, he belongs right in his symphonic writing is the very model of advanced, where the future of symphonic writing was going was present in all of his mature symphonic works.
Yeah, and the joke that I get, I mean, we all learn, the first things we learn are in C major, and you think, oh, well, okay, that's an innocent little place to be. This would be the perfect model for anybody, you know, advanced study of harmony, to understand how the emotional response to his harmonic sense. I mean, he always comes back and miraculously and terribly cleverly back to C major, or the significant relative keys to that. But he's floating through A flat, and all the keys you can imagine, and to great effect. It's just makes your heart feel so good. And as opposed to the first half of the concert, which is kind of minore, serious, with your feet on the ground, the second half just
with the head held high,
takes you away out of the concert.
You know, one wonders actually if I certainly get a feeling that certain composers preferred certain key signatures or tonalities, or that they reserved certain tonalities for certain visions. You know, Beethoven was obviously quite fond of C minor, E flat major, the same number of flats in the key signature, of course, but two different characters, but both he took them very seriously. One of my favorite Schubert pieces, of course, is the Cello Quintet in C major. It was the very first piece I ever heard of Schubert's, and it was an unbelievable revelation for me. I didn't even know what to make of it. It was so incredible. So the fact that this great C major is in the key of C major, I personally feel like Schubert knew exactly what he was doing.
And it's not an easy key to play in.
Oh no,
it's not natural for the orchestra. There's this funny things happen, but it's just full of great moments.
Yeah. So this is going to be a fantastic concert. It's one that I'm looking forward to very much to be listening to.
Good.
It's going to be so exciting. So we'll see all of you for Masterworks 6.
Thank you.